Hi, this is Joe with AJ Antunes. We're going to be talking about the ES/MES 1200 taking too long to cook. Okay, so one of the easiest problems that could cause this where it's not cooking the top of the eggs or not cooking properly is an oversaturation of grease. They're only supposed to spray the inside of the egg rings and then, or take like a little brush to brush inside the egg rings. They've been removed for clarity. And what we're going to do is add water to this, and it should look really weird. See how it looks like it's a bubbling and cauldron? It's supposed to be steaming. And that's going to take away the steaming effect to the egg, so it's not going to cook the top of the eggs. Next, what we're going to do to correct the issues, obviously you want to clean the top of the unit. I remove the grease with some paper towels. And this is something you can do right away, while the unit's still on. Remove the grease, and then you can use a dish soap or a degreaser, one that's obviously safe for aluminum because this is an aluminum platen. So you clean off the surface and then rinse it with water, and then you can go back to cooking your eggs. Okay, so now we're going to check the unit after for the ES/MES 1200 for taking too long to heat the product. Okay, we already tried cleaning the front and we're still having an issue. Usually that takes care of it by cleaning the grease off the platen. Well, we're going to also come over here and check minor things that could happen. You might have a sticking relay that might be sticking open, and we can check that for resistance and voltage. Check the thermocouple for resistance over here to see if it's actually reading properly. And we'll come back and we'll check voltages from our terminal block here to our relay. We'll also check DC voltage here for the relay. We'll also see the LED turning on. So one thing is, if someone recently replaced the solid state relay, if they reverse the wires, this will not work. Okay, this light will not turn on. I'm going to have my assistant turn on the unit, please. And I'm going to put the gloves on. We are working with a live unit. I'm going to bring my multimeter in here. This is not an endorsement of this product. This is what we have on hand. Your meter might need to have the button chosen for the mode. You might have to select to change your range. Okay, so this one should be heating up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check from my terminal block on the black wire and the black wire down here and the white wire, just to make sure we're getting voltage coming in. And we got 230 coming in. All right, so we should see something close to that going into the relay. All right, so I'll keep one lead on the white wire. That's your L2. And we'll check our voltages. All right, we have 230 coming in. And about a little slight voltage drop there. That's normal. Now, if you're getting 0 volts coming out, then you know the relay is stuck open. Like I said, we can see the LED. Now, these LEDs are going to be very dim. You might have to cover it with your hand to see it, because we're sending voltage over here that's very, very low. Let's see if this is going to auto range for us. It did. Okay, so you can see that in the meter, we got about 1.286 volts DC. And if you look at the relay, it says, hey, between 3 and 32 volts DC. Okay, we're pulsing this relay on and off really, really fast. Okay, this is a random phase relay. So if you also put a 0 cross relay in here, it's not going to work. Because we are pulsing it, your meter is seeing the average of the on time. Usually you'll see between 0.2 volts DC to 0.6 volts DC. If your meter is faster at reading, it might show more. Like this was showing us 1.2. That's still a good number. That's showing us that we're getting power to the relay. All right, so we should have the voltage coming out. We do have voltage coming out. If we had no voltage, we already said that's the relay. Now, what can happen is if the relay gets older, when we're pulsing it on and off, it starts to get lazy, okay? So it's not gonna make contact. So you might have to do this while the unit's hot. So make sure you support the front, make sure it's on something that's heat resistant, like a stainless steel table or something. And when you're checking this, you might see that voltage dropping out. Okay, this will be here, the 1.2 volts, or whatever you're reading is gonna be the same. When you're checking from your white wire, your L2, that's your L1 coming in, this is your T1 coming out, and you see the voltage starts dropping and dropping. Say you see like 100 volts or something. Then you might know that there's an issue. Now, when the light's off and the ready light's on, that means the board's at temperature, and it's going to show you that on the board, and we'll show you that later, that you'll see the ready light. There's 3 LEDs here. One says heat right now, and when it gets to temperature, it's going to be, when the heat light turns off, that's going to tell you it's at temperature. So you will find 0 volts coming out of that at that point. That's normal. But while it's in the heat mode, you should see voltage coming out. If you don't, then you know there's something wrong with that relay. Another thing we can test, I can have my assistant turn off the unit, please. Thank you very much. If you also heard that buzzing, that was from the transformer coming through. All right, now, if it's not reading proper temperature, if it thinks it's already at temperature, and that's why it's not heating back up, this is your thermocouple. And on the bottom side, I don't know if you can see that, sorry, on that side right there, there's some terminals there. All right, we're gonna check that for resistance. You can also check it for millivolts, but if you don't have the conversion chart, this will give you a better, this will give you a rough estimate. We should have 2 to 10 ohms at room temperature. Since the unit's been on, it's gonna be higher than that. And I'm gonna test that and see if we get this in here. Now, yellow is your positive, red is your negative. Don't ask me why the thermocouple companies did it that way, but they did. All right, so we have 21 ohms. Now, once you get over 100 degrees on the plate, you're gonna see roughly 1 ohm for every 10 degrees. So we're probably about 210 degrees. So you just move your decimal point over 1. That's what you're gonna see roughly as a temperature. So this unit usually runs between 275, 285 Fahrenheit. But if you're seeing it, it's like 280 ohms or 28 ohms right now, and you check the surface with a pyrometer and it's say 250, okay, then there's probably something going on with your thermocouple, okay? And it'd be a good idea to replace it. So sometimes they may read fine at room temperature, but when they start heating up, they might fail. And that should be about most of the issues you'll see with this unit having a problem with heating up, or heating the product, excuse me, to get it cooking properly.